I went south. It was past midnight and nighttime. I went south. I went past midnight. It was just fine. Well, these motherfuckers lied to me. And I did not see everything that they said would bother me. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Punk Rock Review, home of a bunch of opinionated crap you don't care about. Also the home of the feedback you provide that we don't care about. Keeps us on an even playing field. And we like that. Real quick shout out to our sponsor. Fuck! Anyhow, moving straight into it today. Today we're going to be talking about a game that we've talked about before, or I don't know, Scheisebox talked about it before. We're huge fans of that show now. It's growing on us. Anyhow, without further ado, we're talking about South of Midnight. You might be saying to yourself, what? Fuck that game. Hey, we're going to block the next one. What? Fuck that game. What? Oh, you high-fived us over it. Oh, you thought it wasn't as bad either. Well, you know what we did? We thought it wasn't as bad as everyone made it out to be. Everyone was like, oh man, this is fucking just trash. It's going to be completely horrible, this, that, the other. And you know, we dove in as we do, because we pay our Game Pass membership subscription as professional gamers, as everyone else does as well. Okay? We checked out the game and it's like, man, where's all the stuff that's supposed to be upsetting us and pissing us off and making us hate this and see all this bleed over of you know, all this wokeisms and social justices and, you know, this, that, and the other. Where is it? Where is it blatantly littered throughout that makes this title so horrible, so awful, that no one should play it, check it out, go through it in any way, shape, or form, right? We saw not one iota of that. What we did see on, as aforementioned before, and, you know, someone was streaming the game upon its first initial release or whatever, 300, 400 people watching it. We were one of them for, you know, all of a minute. And, you know, the comments and the chats and the everything, just negative, 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 negative. When are we done with this? This game isn't good. You know, what, this, that, the other. The game, after what we went through, the entire fucking thing is not as bad as everyone said it was. It is playable. Now, we will concede there are some issues here or there. We will concede it is not completely flawless. It is not an enamored, runaway, masterful, successive hit, man. That is a must-play. Everyone must jump into it and dive into it. But fuck, it is not as bad as everyone said it was. Completely not as bad as everyone said it was. It's a playable, complete title. Okay? Doesn't do anything very innovative, very creative, very out of the box, extraordinary, or anything like that. But it succeeds in doing everything that it sets out to do. Now, we'll also concede that this title obviously seemingly needed to bake a little longer, because while the first half of the story and campaign in it and everything like that, all right, is very well fleshed out and pieced together, you hit about a little past the halfway point or right at the halfway point where it looks like it's missing some material in between. And it moves a little faster. It looks like they're missing a boss battle in there or two. And they actually ended up, you know, just using bigger mini bosses or whatever to kind of pad out that place. It seems to us like in the latter half of the game, they have these wonderful, marvelous, magnificent, gorgeous levels and, you know, designed environments and things of that nature. Yes, nothing out of the ordinary from what other peripherals have presented before and other games have presented before. Okay? But it's gorgeous. It's nice to look at, and it seemingly is lacking the content in those areas, man, to keep that engagement level up. So whilst it's not, yes, a perfect title, whilst it has issues, whilst it seems to be completed and rushed out and it suffers a little bit in the back end of the story and campaign, the problems, the flaws, the glitches, the bugs, the crashes, the any iota of negative association with gaming, gameplay, games in general that was supposed to be affixated to this title, we have not seen. It's a AA studio release that plays well as a complete story, doesn't force a bunch of, you know, microtransaction-esque shit down your throat. Okay? It's not the best story. It's not the best music. It's not the most wonderful level design. It's arena-based combat with the enemy types and stuff like that. Okay, there's inherent things you can pick apart about it, but it plays and it flows. And all of the stuff that was supposed to be issued or problematic, inherently we don't see. We don't see it all. South of Midnight Compulsion Games, fantastic job. We agree with the sentiment that, yes, this game should not win Game of the Year. It shouldn't even necessarily be in contention for Game of the Year, but we will tell you this: the art style and the art direction and every aspect of the artistic side of gaming awards, this game needs to be in the chat and the talk and the running for. Because especially on those earlier levels when you're freeing the fish guy and, you meet the giant fish and fuck his brains out, whatever. All of that stuff inherently is so wonderfully presented artistically. The style, that needs to be in the talk for some of the year stuff. Artistic game of the year. Art direction design of the year. This is in the running and the talk for that. Might not win it. Hey, you better show me another game that presents an art style or something better than this one does, because that stop-go animation with the kind of claymation and the kind of, just typical, pixelated everything to it and stuff like that, gaming environment, something works really well there, and the chances that they took on that, for us, paid off in droves. The art is one of the most enjoyable things about this game. Even some of the sub-stories are extremely more geared adult-esque in nature. All right? You tell me another game. Well, all right, there's a lot out there, okay? You got these sub-stories, and we don't want to spoil it, give it away. Fast forward 30 seconds if you don't want to hear this shit. A story of two brothers or whatever, and one of them boarding the other one up in a fucking hollowed out tree and shit like that because he was wreaking havoc on their life in the community and stuff like that, therefore sentencing him to his, inevitable demise. Come on, man. What a nice little backstory tie-in. Just crazy, one of those legend tales, tall tales. The game has some stuff to it that just inherently presents to the gamer a fun, playable experience. But what sucks is, before we even booted it up, we were supposed to be not having any fun with this. It's supposed to be shoving all this shit into our, eyepiece holes. It's supposed to be indoctrinating us in this, whatever's added to this game that makes it so horrible, so atrocious to, release upon the gaming community, to where no one can enjoy it, have fun with it, play it in any way, shape, or form. It just doesn't make any sense, man, why folks who seemingly have never played the game just accept what other folks might or might not say about it, or what the overall general broad swath and topic of conversation and discussion is around a game. Now, obviously, you're going to find your content creators that might line up with your, way of thinking, your preferences in games or media or anything like that, and you kind of, birds of a feather flock together, okay? But the problem lies in where those creators don't play the game themselves. And then they have something to say about it that just dogpiles on it and jumps on it the same that a lot of other entities and everything have. How many people completed the game that are like, hey, this is just a big woke piece of shit? We didn't see it. Hey, I'm not saying that they didn't play it. Hey, the issues that were laid out that were supposed to be in the title, we had no issue with them. The game got a bad rap out of the gate for some of their, choices as far as entities to seek outside influence or directives from. All right? do the Sweet Baby Inc. talk, all that, whatever. All right. But inherently, the game that is presented in its finished form and fashion is a playable title, not a complete massive runaway success, but it is a massive artistic masterpiece, all right? And it needs to get at least some level of, if not love, but at least respect for what Compulsion Games has done and brought to the table as far as their artistic endeavors in this title and release. Okay? Doesn't need to be released for the problems that we don't see in it, that were supposed to be in it. It needs to be remembered for what it's done extremely well and remarkable, and that's its art direction and art style. Amazing. Amazing. South of Midnight, what can be said about this one? Well, it gets a good old-fashioned, it gets a question mark, okay? We can't see it. Well, fucking whatever. I don't know. Christ, it's down there. What, you want the dot higher there? Fucking hell. It gets a question mark. That's not a fucking question mark. I don't know, the paint's running. What do you want from us? What the fuck is this? Quick color. You blame those assholes. Fucking. South of Midnight ain't the worst thing out there, man. Might not be the best, but it definitely ain't the worst. And it is not as bad as everyone said it was. So, there you go. Play it, don't play it. We don't care. We just want your money. So, give us money. Compulsion Games, what an awesome-ass commercial that we've done for you. Pretty much saying that you do have good art style in your game and it's not a complete piece of shit. Feel free to send us $13,000. Everyone else should just send us, fucking money. Unless you don't have any to spare, in which case, don't, But if you got extra, fucking, we'll take that shit. That's it. Have a good one. You probably didn't. We'll catch you next time. Probably won't.